The sound came first. Low, rumbling, wrong, like the mountain had taken a breath. Birds scattered, glasses rattled on countertops. Someone glanced at the ceiling, not knowing why, and then, in a single violent motion, the building shifted, the ground tilted. Tower 1 of the Highland Towers was falling. At 1:35 p.m. on December 11th, 1993, 15 stories of concrete, steel, and human life gave way. Windows burst, walls cracked. An entire block of apartments pitched forward, then collapsed in on itself, with a sound like thunder in a cave. Inside, there was no warning. A boy was watching TV. A mother sliced fruit in the kitchen. A woman walked barefoot across the floor when her feet left the ground. Rooms twisted, doors jammed, and floors folded over each other like paper. The ceiling became the wall. Then it all turned black. The collapse took 12 seconds. Outside, it looked like the earth had swallowed the building whole. Where Tower 1 had stood, there was only a ragged mountain of debris, steel rebar jutting like broken ribs, staircases twisted in knots. A single refrigerator lay cracked open in the mud. Dust poured over the trees. Dogs howled. Neighbors ran barefoot down the hill, screaming. Cars rolled down the street in neutral, shaken loose by the tremor. And beneath it all, people were still alive. The Highland Towers had once symbolized progress. 3 concrete towers on a lush slope in Taman Hillview, just outside Kuala Lumpur. A modern hillside community, surrounded by jungle, built in the late 1970s for doctors, lawyers, and rising middle-class families. But the hill was never stable. Developers cut into it. Roads were carved, trees removed. A retaining wall was built and then ignored. And in the years that followed, something began to shift. Quietly. The signs were there. Cracks in the pavement, mudslides behind the parking garage, a retaining wall that bowed out with the weight of the soil, complaints filed, warnings sent. But nothing was done. In the weeks before the collapse, the rains came. Torrential monsoon storms battered the hillside. Water leaked from broken pipes and pooled into the soil. The slope behind Tower 1 became a sponge, heavy, unstable, and primed to move. And then, on that December afternoon, it did. The retaining wall failed, the earth moved, and Tower 1 followed. Rescue workers clawed through the wreckage with their bare hands. Firemen, volunteers, soldiers. Some brought nothing but buckets. Others crawled into half-collapsed spaces, calling out names no one answered. By nightfall, voices were heard beneath the rubble. A tapping. Then a woman's voice, faint, then gone. A child's cry, buried beneath meters of broken concrete. They worked for hours, then days. Sniffer dogs searched the ruins. Cranes lifted slabs of wall like puzzle pieces. Some bodies were found sitting upright. Others had been thrown across rooms. Entire families were pulled out together, wrapped in sheets. On the 11th day, they found her. A baby girl, alive, crying, trapped beneath a crushed wardrobe, shielded by the body of her mother. She had survived on nothing but rainwater and luck. They called her the Miracle. In the end, 48 people died. Elderly couples, children, parents, housekeepers. Dozens of lives ended in the span of one breath. The collapse left scars across the city and questions. It wasn't just rain, it wasn't just a freak accident. A burst pipe from a neighboring development had leaked for years, weakening the soil. Trees that once anchored the hillside had been stripped away for views. Warnings had gone unheeded. It was greed, neglect, bureaucratic rot. Tower 2 and Tower 3 were abandoned. Vines crept over the balconies. Graffiti bloomed on the walls. The jungle began to reclaim what was taken. Locals whispered about ghosts in the trees. Taxi drivers refused to stop near the ruins after dark. The buildings still stand today, empty, crumbling, watching. A warning carved in concrete. Thank you for listening to Road to Ruins. Subscribe for more true stories where systems fail and people pay the price.